are pretty silent, so that's possible. But you do need 2.5 hours a night of studying, and study halls are 1 hour, and since I do teach math, 1 is less than 2.5. Especially unless they're straightened up. They make all A's, and they're freshmen. Oh, I mean, kiss your hands, kiss your husband for the good genetics, whatever, because you're very, 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 very lucky if that happens. And most of the kids are smart enough to get away with it, and they may not do what they want to do, but they'll be fine when they grow up. You can always look on the Tampa Prep homework page and see what is due. Yes, I know the teacher forgets to update them. We tried. Sometimes we're busy. I try to remember to do mine today. I try to do them every day. Provide a place for them to study. First of all, 30 to 45 minutes is the max they can possibly sit still. Maybe even say you're only allowed to study for 30 minutes and it needs to be at the kitchen table. If they're making D's, I would require this. And then after 30 minutes, you get 10 minutes to do what you want to do. Talk on the phone, eat, make them run around the house. Mr. Couchman used to say he would exercise, and by the time the night was over, he'd get very sweaty. They have to move. In my algebra class, I put problems, they bring it up, sit down, up, down, up, down, up, down. They must... I have very thin algebra students by the end. And because they need to get up and move. And we're going to talk about the child who has to move. And if they have to stand, then they can just ask. Because there are some people who only think well when they're standing. And they have to move, and they have to chew gum, and they have to fiddle. Just don't make noise. I have one who sits at my desk because he's a vet child. And I have a drawer, and it goes... And I said, can you stop it? I said, I don't care if you look at my desk, but... Rattle it. Stop at the desk. And I know they have to do it. In the past, I've gotten like squeegee balls, you know, and like throw it at them and say, here, go play. Because I would like find things and give them to them. I said, no, you can do nothing but play with this. You know, because they have to keep their hands busy. Have them bring balls or something. I don't know. They need to be busy. Certainly, if you let them study in their room, I know what I'm like because my home computer has solitaire, and I can sit for hours in solitaire very bad, and I keep on saying, my husband said, I thought you were writing. I write novels. I go, I'm thinking. Yeah, okay. I'm not even buying that line. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't be on it. We can get distracted now. I could spend 10 hours online. I'm into photography. I'll look at photos. I'll look at everything. So if I'm at a place where I don't have all that, it's a little bit better. So you might consider moving them where they don't have the internet, don't have the Wii, don't have whatever. If they make A's, fine. You make A's and B's, go back to your room. Reward them when they do something well. Check to see, and I'm talking middle school and 9th grade, check to see if the homework's done. If it's online. You have no idea if it's right, and that's okay. Is there a piece of paper that says, for a second line, page 32, but if they've erased the page number 800 times, and it's the same homework, you know they're fooling you. But, okay. You know that if you're asked to study for a really long period of time, your mind wanders. Have you ever read a book, and suddenly, you know, you read the first 20 pages, it's great, and you look and you're on page 50. Now, maybe I've been abducted in page 20 to 50, or something happened, but I have read, and I'm like, where was I? I know I've turned the pages. I must have seen, but I don't. It's just like I was over here thinking of something else. And that's what they do. So try to do a little more monitoring. Encourage them to see the teacher, or ask the teacher to require them to come in. You're the bad guy enough. Have us be the bad guy. That's what we're paid for. So have us require, you must show up twice and I'm going to email your parent. And I've had parents, please do not tell Johnny that I'm emailing you, but he really needs to come in. And would you please require him to come in and let me know if he does or doesn't? You know, and I have no problem doing that. Put the onus on us to make certain that they show up and to let you know if they don't. But we're talking C's and D's here. Tampa Prep is hard. Really hard. And the colleges know we are hard. They know that a B at Tampa Prep is worth 50 A pluses at Plant. They know that only 1/3 of the AP students even pass the AP, where 85% of ours do. We have to give them a profile. Colleges know how hard our school is. So the old line of, I went to Planic and make all A's. Yeah, you won't learn anything and flunk out of college. And plus, colleges know that. They know that doesn't mean anything. Consider, here's something that I do, not used to. I have a fear I'm going to forget something. So I take my book bag, my lunch, my computer, everything I need, and I place it right in front of the door. Or in real emergency, I'll actually put it in the back of the car before I begin. They have their homework. They have no idea where it is. And most of them stick it in their book, and then the papers fall out, and they have no idea where it is. There's no system of organization. One can get them a notebook. One can, say, this is an inside, an in, and an out. Right is in, left is out. There are ways to get organized. Ask the teacher, what's the best way to study for that particular class? Every teacher knows how to study for their class. It's not generic. And again, there are, well, if you've ever done the Myers-Briggs, there's like 16 different personality types, and the probability that your personality type is going to mesh with another one is slim to none. And I tell the story, and Dr. Krantz, who I walk every week with, we're best friends, knows this story. She is beyond conceptual. I don't have a conceptual bone in my body. I have to start at step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, and once I get to the top, I can look down, oh, I get it. But if I don't start at 1, I ain't getting it. So one year, way back when, qualifications did not count, we needed someone to teach physics. Well, I'm a math teacher, so I must know physics. Right? Okay, my last name's German. My last name was German, and I didn't speak a word of German, but to them it didn't matter. So you get to teach physics, and I went, I've taken 1 physics course in college. 1, and I got a C-. That's okay, I'm sure you can figure it out. Fortunately, the husband number 1 from MIT was still in the picture with a master's in physics. And I said, okay, and then they said to Dr. Krantz, you get to teach physics too. And she goes, I have my PhD in chemistry. That's okay, we need people to teach physics. We were like, this is way back, and this is 30 years ago, maybe even 32. So we were like, so I kept ahead of the kids, and I swear, there were more physics majors after that year than anything else. I had to study it, I'm not making this up, 9 times I had to go over the material. 9 times in order to be able to learn it well enough to teach it. So comes the end of the year, we have to give the same exam. And I said, I'll make up the exam. I would forget, and I go, oh, I forgot what this concept was, can you help me? I never understood her. I'm like, okay. So I make up the exam, and I said, you make up the extra credit questions. So she makes up all the extra credit questions. And I gave them, and I couldn't do any of them. So, embarrassed, I took it to husband number 1 and said, how do you do these? Because what if someone gets it right on the final and I don't know the answer? And he said, well, you just do blank and blank. And I'm like, well, that's too easy. And then I realized, they are extra credit, she took a concept from chapter 1 and put it with a concept from chapter 4, and you had to answer the question. It never occurred to me that you could put 1 with 4. That's not how my brain worked. It had to be from chapter 1 or chapter 2, which is, of course, stupid, or 3 or 4, and it never occurred to me that there were such things as concept. Okay, I'm only 29 years old at this time. As I said, I didn't learn how to study until I was 35, so I finally figured out that I was a slow learner. There were concepts involved, and how do you get to see the big picture? I have to memorize everything. Now, I know all the teachers say, don't memorize. I'm sorry. I have to memorize it in order for it to go, oh, that goes to that, and that goes to that, and that goes to that. I get it. And then I'm really smart. But in the beginning, I know nothing. So you have to sort of learn what works for you. Please do have enough paper and pencil for your child. Oh, they didn't mind yet. No, I know you buy them and they give them away or they lose them, etc. Most books are online. It might not. I had one parent say, email me all of the codes and therefore I can provide them with the codes when you don't have your book. We tell the student that if they are absent, they are responsible for the work of actually trying the homework, coming in for help. They don't buy that. They want to make up stories, though we don't believe that. What do you do for the older child? Try not to interfere too much. I have horror stories of parents doing papers for the child and getting irate that they didn't get a better grade. And they're like, and they said, but I helped. And even the child said, and my mom did it. And we're like, okay, well, that could be grounds for plagiarism, but we let it slide as a freshman. Did they know MLA format? Oh, no. And I have one now. They have to write the Pisgah paper if they don't go. And I got the paper, and I'm like, where's the MLA format? And she almost died, because I know the mom doesn't know how to do the MLA format. I was told the mom did the paper, so we'll see how I get on that one. And I read the paper to the child. I said, do you write like this? No. Can you put it in your own words? Oh. I would say if there's a D or an F and you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, I may step in. Seniors don't want to do any work anyway. And no matter what you do, even if you took a branding iron and hit them with it, they're not going to work if they don't want to. Most of the time, I find the students who do no work are just super intelligent and they're bored out of their mind. And there's nothing we can do about them being bored. They're so creative, they're so intelligent that they choose to do nothing, and you know they're going to be fine. You may not be fine living through it, but they will be fine. Micromanaging your child's life sends a very bad signal to them. It tells them you are incapable of doing anything without my help. Where do you think their self-esteem is going to be? Bad. You need to hit rock bottom, the F in calculus, as a math major, to make you realize something's wrong. I was a superstar. I made A+ and everything. The F did not settle on my freshman year. But I figured it out. Actually, it was the F in Chem Lab that made me decide not to be biochem, and I just then went into math and got the F in that. I was not a happy camper in the beginning, but I did figure it out without my parents' help. Now, if a teacher emails you and says, John is not doing any homework, we need to do something, then you can just say you need to go in for extra help, and they'll realize that that's not an option, and they'll actually start doing work because they can. I think I mentioned studying group. If a student, you do have the option, if a student has gone into a teacher, I am step by step, and there are a lot of teachers who are conceptual. I guarantee you I couldn't learn well from some teachers. And the kids who are really conceptual, step-by-step teachers drive them crazy. So it's not good or bad, you just got to mix and match. If the student goes in, they say, they just explain it the same way they've always explained it. What should I do? Get an NHS tutor. But the advisor has to sign off that the child has tried. You don't reward them for having done nothing. You make them go in 4 or 5 times, and if that doesn't work, and if the teacher says, I explained it again, I don't know what happens, they're not learning, then maybe a student explaining it can help. If that doesn't work, maybe try an outside tutor. That's your last choice. If you think there is a problem, teachers are pretty astute. They can one former headmaster said, quote, "We will believe nothing, of what the student tells us about you, if you don't believe anything what the student tells you about us." Because kids make up stuff. And otherwise, if we believed everything they told us, you guys are mean and horrible, etc. And for us, they don't care, they're not nice to us, they don't pay attention. I'm sure there's a lot of horror stories. But get with the advisor. The advisor can talk to the teacher, and they'll say, well, John has come late 14 times, they have never turned in the homework, he won't shut up in class, and he sleeps the whole time. Oh, I can see there's a problem. Okay. And work for that. Rewards versus punishment. Obviously, it's really wonderful if we can praise the students, because I find that students who are successful absolutely are happier, and they do much better, and they study really, really hard, because once they get a good grade, they work hard to keep that good grade. Low grades do nothing, but I'm a failure and I'm not going to do anything. How do you praise people who do nothing? That's really hard, but hopefully our goal is to do that. But obviously you want to be realistic. I had a mom who everything I did was wonderful, and after a while you don't